It's story time. Story time. Let's read it story time. Story time. I'm Geek this story time. Story time. You and me, it's story time. Story time. Let's achieve. Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to Story Time with me, Kayla. How is your Sunday going? I hope you are doing well, and of course, making sure to stay safe. Now today, we have another special author feature! We are going to take a look at a book from author K.A. Mulenga, who has written 11 books, and I'm pretty sure he has more coming soon. And so, without further ado, the ebook we'll be reading tonight is called Chuck the Cheetah, written by K.A. Mulenga and illustrated by Tsabitha, Yahya. You ready to see what this book is all about? Ready, set, let's begin. Chuck the Cheetah, written by K.A. Mulenga and illustrations by Tsabitha, Yahya. Here we go. He dedicates this book to his wife and to his 3 kids. Chuck was the fastest cheetah in the land. No one could beat him, no matter how hard they tried. So it was assumed that at the daily friendly races, Chuck would win. And at the weekly fun races, Chuck would win. And at the monthly championship races, Chuck would win. No one could beat him. At the end of every race, which he always won, Chuck would jump up and twist his body in mid-air, singing cheerfully, "All I do is win, 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 win." The other cheetahs in Chuck's age group tried really hard to think up ways to beat him. One day, they met at the watering hole after one of the races. "Chuck is just too good. How are we ever going to beat him?" sighed Chip. "I know. No matter how hard we train, we always lose to Chuck," said Chum. "I have an idea. Follow me," said Chester. Suddenly, Chip, Chum, and Chester saw Chuck. He was walking proudly through the grass. "Hey, Chuck," called Chester cheerfully. "You are the fastest cheetah in the world. But what would happen if you lost a race? How would you feel?" Chuck looked up at the 3 cheetahs. "I never lose," he said smugly. "All I do is win, 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 win." "But what if one day you did lose?" asked Chip. Chuck looked up at the 3 cheetahs and said again proudly, "I never lose. All I do is win, 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 win." "No one could ever beat me," thought Chuck proudly. "Chuck," said Chum, "everyone loves you, and I think even if you were to lose, people would still love you and respect you." "But I never lose," yelled Chuck. "All I do is win, 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 win." The next day, there was another daily friendly race. Chuck was so sure of winning that he told all the cheetahs that he would give them a 10-second head start. The race started, and Chum and Chip were in the lead. Although Chuck had started the race a whole 10 seconds later, very soon he was catching up to Chum and Chip. Just as they were nearing the finish line and Chuck was racing to catch up with Chum and Chip, Chuck accidentally stepped on a thorn. He managed to kick the thorn out of his paw, but it was too late. He had lost his stride, and Chip had won the race. Chuck couldn't believe it. He walked away sadly as everyone else cheered for Chip and lifted him high up into the air. "Chip's the champ! Chip's the champ!" everyone screamed. Chuck didn't show his face at the races for the next few days. At the next weekly fun race, he showed up again. "Listen, everyone, I am still the fastest. I am still the best," he boasted. "Chip was just lucky to win because I had stepped on a thorn," he exclaimed. And with that, off he went. All the cheetahs decided they didn't like Chuck anymore because of his conceited nature. No one wanted to race with him or even play with him. That night, Chuck had a strange dream. In his dream, a wise old cheetah appeared before him. "You need to accept defeat and lose gracefully," the wise old cheetah told him. "What does that mean?" asked Chuck. "It means that even if you lose, you can still be happy for the winner. You win some, you lose some," whispered the wise old cheetah. The next day, Chuck went to the daily friendly race and asked the others if he could join in the race. At first, the other cheetahs said no. He begged them to let him join in. Eventually, Chip, Chum, and Chester agreed to let him race against them. The race started, and as usual, Chuck was way ahead of everyone. Suddenly, just before the end, he started slowing down. This time, it was Chester who won the race. Chuck had let him win, but he didn't tell him he had done it on purpose. "Chester's the champ! Chester's the champ!" everyone cheered. Chuck went up to Chester and said, "Well done. That was a great race." Chester was surprised. "But," he replied, "I thought all you do is win, 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 and that you never lose." "Well, you win some, you lose some," said Chuck with a wink. And from that moment on, everyone loved Chuck again, just the way they used to. All the cheetahs played and raced together every single day again, and even though Chuck won most of the races, he never got upset when he lost one or two of them to his cheetah friends. The end. Yes, K Crew! It's always good to be proud of yourself, but you never want to be conceited. That's when you think you're better than everyone else. That's never good. And we saw that Chuck was very conceited, and nobody wanted to play with him until he learned how to humble himself. Now, I hope you enjoyed reading this book as much as I did. To find your copy of Chuck the Cheetah, make sure to head on over to his international website, or you can find this book on Amazon today. And of course, be sure to follow him on social media. A big thank you to Mr. Mulenga for this book and for also teaching us a very important, valuable life lesson. I want to give a shout out to his family, hey, his wife and his kids. And I also want to thank you all for joining me, but it's time to sing goodbye. Are we ready? Here we go. Goodbye, 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 my friends. Goodbye to you. I hope to see you again real soon. Be proud of all your work tonight. Now climb into bed and sleep real tight. On the count of 3, let's say goodnight. 1, 2, 3.